I realized something was wrong when I noticed a mirror in the hallway showed a corner of the room I wasn't standing in. At first, I assumed it was just the angle or my exhaustion from traveling all day, but when I stepped closer, the reflection lagged just slightly. I checked my phone to confirm the listing photos. The mirror wasn't there. That's when I heard a soft notification sound come from a phone that wasn't mine. These are 3 disturbing true Airbnb horror stories. I booked the place because it was cheap and close to the conference center. It was my first solo work trip after promotion, and I didn't want to expense anything fancy. The listing looked normal. Clean apartment, self-check-in, host with dozens of 5-star reviews. The host messaged me the morning of arrival with the door code and a friendly note. "You'll have the place to yourself. I live out of town." I checked in around 10:30 p.m. The apartment was exactly as pictured. Small, quiet, and very clean. The only thing that stood out was a number of house rules printed and taped to the fridge. No guests, no smoking, no moving furniture, and one that felt oddly specific. Do not unplug any devices. I assumed it referred to the Wi-Fi router or smart TV. I unpacked, showered, and sat on the couch answering emails. That's when I noticed a mirror in the hallway. It was tall, frameless, and positioned directly across from the bedroom door. I didn't remember seeing it in the listing photos, but I figured it was decorative. Around midnight, I got a message from the host. "Everything okay so far?" I replied yes. He responded almost immediately. "Good. I see you found a mirror. People usually like it." That stopped me. I hadn't mentioned the mirror. I scrolled back to the listing photos. No mirror. I checked again, slower this time. Still nothing. I messaged him back, trying to sound casual. "Yeah, it's nice. Add space." He replied, "Just don't cover it or move it. It messes with the setup." That word, setup, stuck with me. I walked back into the hallway and stood in front of the mirror again. This time I paid closer attention. The reflection looked right, but something felt off. The lighting in the reflected room seemed slightly dimmer than where I was standing. I waved my hand. It mirrored me perfectly. I reached out and touched the glass. It was warm. That's when I noticed a faint dot near the top corner, almost invisible unless the light hit it just right. I turned off the hallway light. It glowed red. I stepped back and locked myself in the bathroom. My phone buzzed again. "Please don't tamper with anything," the host wrote. I hadn't told him what I'd seen. I searched the bathroom for vents, panels. Anything unusual? Everything looked normal. My phone had no service, just Wi-Fi. I tried calling a friend through an app, but the call wouldn't connect. Then I heard movement. Not footsteps, more like shifting weight. From the hallway, right where the mirror was. I stayed in the bathroom for almost 20 minutes, barely breathing. Finally, I heard the front door unlock. A man's voice spoke quietly, like he was on a phone call. I couldn't hear the words, just the tone, calm, routine. I waited until the apartment went silent again. Then I opened the bathroom door and grabbed my bag. I didn't look at the mirror. I didn't turn on any lights. I unlocked the door and left. I slept in my car that night and went straight to the police in the morning. They inspected the apartment with the building manager. The mirror had been removed. The host account was gone. The police told me there were no signs of forced entry and no proof anyone else had been there. But they also told me the Wi-Fi router had been streaming data continuously all night. The second place was supposed to be a weekend reset. My girlfriend and I booked a cabin an hour outside the city for our anniversary. Remote, quiet, highly rated. The host emphasized privacy in every message. No neighbors. You won't see another soul. We arrived just before sunset. The cabin sat at the end of a long dirt road, surrounded by trees. It felt peaceful. Inside, everything was rustic but clean. There was a guest book on the table with handwritten notes going back years. Most were normal. Couples thanking the host. Families mentioning how quiet it was. One entry stood out. No date, just one line. He comes at night. I laughed it off, assuming it was a joke. My girlfriend didn't like it, but we moved on. We cooked dinner. opened a bottle of wine, and settled in. Around 11 p.m., we heard knocking. Not at the door, on the wall. 3 slow knocks, coming from the bedroom side of the cabin. I opened the door. Nothing outside. No footprints. No movement. We went to bed anyway, chalking up to animals or old wood. At 2:14 a.m., my girlfriend shook me awake. She said someone was whispering her name. I listened. At first, I heard nothing. Then I heard it. A man's voice, low and close, coming from the wall behind the bed. I jumped up and turned on the lights. The whispering stopped immediately. We searched the cabin. Every window was locked. Every door secure. No attic. No basement. No crawl space that we could find. I messaged the host. "Is there anyone else on the property?" He replied 10 minutes later. "No, just wildlife. The cabin makes noises." I sent another message. "We're hearing a voice." He didn't respond. At 3 a.m., we heard footsteps on the roof. Slow, deliberate steps, pacing from one end to the other. I grabbed my phone and started recording. The footsteps stopped. Then came a knock at the front door. A man spoke through the wood. "I know you're awake." We didn't answer. We didn't move. He knocked again. "You shouldn't have stayed." We called the police. The dispatcher stayed on the line with us for almost 40 minutes until officers arrived. By then, the man was gone. The police searched the area and found a narrow trail behind the cabin, leading deeper into the woods. Along the trail were personal items, wallets, keys, phones, some old, some recent. The host never responded again. The listing disappeared within a week. The police later told us the cabin had been reported before, but no one ever stayed long enough to file a formal complaint. The last day was the shortest. I booked a room in a shared apartment while traveling for a funeral. The host lived there, but said he'd be out of town during my stay. The price was low, the location perfect. When I arrived, the apartment was dark, unlocked. A note on the counter read, "Make yourself at home. I'll be back Sunday night." I noticed immediately that the bedroom door had a lock on the outside. I messaged the host. "Why does the bedroom lock on the outside?" He replied, "Old building. Quirks." That night, I locked myself in anyway, pushing a chair against the door. Around 1 a.m., I heard the front door open. Footsteps moved slowly through the apartment. A voice whispered through the bedroom door. "I just want to make sure you're okay." I didn't answer. The handle rattled, then stopped. In the morning, the chair had been moved. I left immediately and reported everything. The platform refunded me and said they'd investigate. Weeks later, the police called. They asked if I'd noticed any vents in the bedroom. I told them no. They said that was strange, because there was one behind the headboard, large enough for someone to watch through. The police said there was no sign of forced entry, but that still doesn't explain how he got inside.